You don't vote, you don't matter.
This week on Ebert and Roeper, Sean Penn, Jude Law, and Sir Anthony Hopkins in All the King's Men.
James Franco in Flyboys.
And Johnny Knoxville and friends in the long-awaited Jackass #2.
Look at him. Joe Harrison's dummy. Come on, take a bow. Come on, no, come on. There people want to see it. Take a bow. Come on. Oh, there he goes. No, let him lie. Let him lie. Let that hog lie in his own filth.
Sean Penn and James Gandolfini star in All the King's Men. I'm Richard Roeper, and sitting in for Roger this week is the prolific actor and comedian. You might recognize him from movies like Best in Show.
Why didn't he put on one of those Sherlock Holmes hats and put a little pipe in his mouth?
A Mighty Wind.
Hey, what happened?
And Anchorman, the legend of Ron Burgundy.
Ling Wong the panda is giving birth.
Mr. Fred Willard. Fred, welcome.
Thank you, Richard. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for giving me a platform to air my opinions. It's very seldom that someone turns to me and says, Fred, what did you think?
Actually, I walk down the street all the time thinking, I wonder what Fred would think about this.
This evening you're going to find out.
We're going to find out soon, aren't we? Let's start with our first movie.
You asked.
I may be. Okay, our first movie. Now, Sean Penn, you may have heard of him. He gives a great, twangy, over-the-top performance in All the King's Men, but the movie itself is an unholy mess. When a film's release is delayed for more than a year, unfortunately, it's almost always a bad sign. In this remake of the 1949 Oscar winner for Best Picture, Penn steps into the Broderick Crawford role as Willie Stark. He's a small-time Louisiana politician in the 40s who becomes an underdog candidate for governor. Governor, I should say. The campaign goes nowhere until Stark learns he's just a patsy. That's when he unleashes the fire and brimstone.
Well, listen to me, you hicks. That's right, I'm not the only one here. You hicks, too. They fooled you, too. Just like they fooled me 1,000 times. But it's time I fool somebody. It's time I fool them.
Jude Law plays Jack Burden, a former journalist who now works for Stark. Anthony Hopkins is the powerful retired judge who supports impeachment proceedings against Stark. Hopkins sounds like he's from Louisiana by way of Wales.
When we came by that night and we're leaving, you said you would think about it.
About calling off the dogs? No, I did not say that. Your memory is faulty, sir. He said, think about it, which I don't have to, because I don't have to think about things I already know.
Yet another Brit, Kate Winslet, plays the daughter of Louisiana's most beloved former governor. She's also Jack's first love.
Didn't I read of your engagement in the society column, which you know I always turn to first in the paper?
I was engaged more than once. Adam didn't care for any of them. Though why that should matter, I don't know.
Who needs them anyway?
Needless to say, the storyline is confusing. Now, the cinematography, I felt, was too slick and pretty when we should be bathed in a sultry, kind of gritty atmosphere. And the ending, with symbolism laid atop metaphor, atop symbolism, is just deadly in more ways than one. This movie is miscast. It's a missed opportunity, and I think it's a mistake if you see it, so thumbs down.
Wow, well, I had reservations going into it because it's a remake of a classic. Why do that? Right. I would prefer a documentary if it's based on the life of Huey Long, but once you get swept up in the movie, you find it too broad, the strokes. I think that's because some of the accents were so thick that they had to make the points very plain. I liked it because of the texture of the film, the early New Orleans, and the acting. Jude Law was one of them. Patricia Clarkson, Kathy Baker, Michael Cavanaugh, and of course the Kate Winslet. At one end of the spectrum, Sean Penn started up here. He got even almost like a cartoon, but it was Huey Long. And the other thing, I loved Anthony Hopkins, so subtle with the hair hanging over his eyes, just making you know, actors, students should just go and watch this film several times over. And to do away with my resistance to it being based on the life of Huey Long, Sean Penn sings a song there. I said, oh, it's probably Randy Newman. Turns out Huey Long wrote the song and sang it. So I liked it, and all together, I give it a thumbs up.
You know, Fred, you mentioned some little touches that I like. You know, Anthony Hopkins is always interesting, and in a way, I almost give him credit for saying, you know what, I'm not even going to bother trying this Southern accent. I just don't understand.
I like that he didn't
he's just Anthony Hopkins at this point, and he's a world-class actor, and I can enjoy some of that. I just thought we got so bogged down in a lot of these side stories about the love affair between Jude Law and Kate Winslet, and trying to get blackmail the judge, and I wanted to see more of how the Sean Penn character went from being this man of the people to this utterly corrupt creature, and I wish it had concentrated more on that than some of these side elements.
Yes, and it got a little bit confusing. Suddenly it's a flashback, it's forward, is this in the past, is this in the future, who is this? But as I say, actors should go and see it. It's a clinic.
All right, sir, fair enough.
And I'll use my American accent to introduce the next film, Richard.
Nicely done.
Our next movie is Jet Li's Fearless. This is not the usual martial arts film pitting the good guy against the ruthless drug dealer or villain of the month. It's a film based on the life of one of China's most famous wushu or martial arts champions, Wu O Wangjia. I stuck my neck out to actually pronounce the actor's names. It's played by Jet Li. As a boy, he witnesses his father's public defeat, has an argument with the victor's son, and they soon jump up on the same platform to fight. The boy is quickly defeated and humiliated. This sets him off on a determined path to become the martial arts champion of Shanghai. The action choreographer, Yuan Wo Ping, again, you're familiar with his work, says they use no parlor tricks, and this is a direct quote from the brochure. The fights we're watching are the real thing. We only have to take his word for it, and I'd like to believe that. A match is set up between our hero and 4 international champions, which includes a Japanese champion who expresses doubt about the fairness of his 4-against-1 match. Fair or not, it provides some of the film's greatest fight scenes. Jet Li is charismatic and likable, and though he would disapprove of the term, he can really open up a can of you-know-what. Some of the minor roles seem to be right out of the Chinese Actors Studio cardboard track, James Lipton. And there's a death scene that equals anything ever done by Lillian Gish. But the film has a very rich, beautiful look. It creates a very real feeling of early Shanghai of the early 1900s. It was filmed in a village so remote they actually had to build a road to get their equipment in. Because of the atmosphere of the film, the beautiful fight scenes, and the heart behind them, I give this film a thumbs up.
Fred, I give it a thumbs up as well for many of the same reasons you mentioned. Yes, some of the acting is straight out of like a bad soap opera, but it's so beautifully photographed. And Jet Li, he starred in a film called Hero a couple of years ago, one of my favorite films in recent years, just a beautiful film. And this has some of the same elements. And I like that you mentioned that the fights, I love the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon stuff with wires and all that, you know, special effects, but to see that authentic fighting style.
I wish I could run through all the different types of wushu, the bare hands, the lungs. I got lost, but...
Actually, I want you to, if you can.
All right.
Let's get
There's a long tongue. Let me just say this. After the movie, I went out for a Chinese meal, and I'm not saying that to be funny. It's just, you're swept up in the whole... Chinese feeling.
It is actually, there is a lot about the culture, you know, and it's beautiful and it's interesting, and about the Western civilization, you know, Westerners coming in and imposing their will, and you get this, then you get this great character, this Hercules O'Brien, the great American champion.
That's right out of World Wrestling Federation. But I think
like that.
That's where American audiences will perk up. Oh, and why do the Giants always have to be angry and mean with the hood? He was very mean.
But see, even in this, there were some nice little touches where even Hercules O'Brien isn't exactly who we think he is. So, I mean, I think this is a terrific film.
Later in the show, Johnny Knoxville and friends bring us Jackass #2. And next, James Franco stars in Flyboys.
Flyboys must be at least the 20th movie I've seen this year that was inspired by true events.
Yes.
Now, in this case, it's the brave Americans who flew for the French before the U.S. officially entered World War I. Of all these fact-based stories, I can't think of another one that contains so many, did I mention many cliches? They could have just called this war movie. James Franco once again plays a rebel without a cause. He's a cowboy named Blaine Rawlings who comes to France to avoid the law back home in Texas.
What's this? Got cowpunchers coming over now?
Yeah, I done some cowboying.
You think a 6-shooter's gonna help you up there?
Well, whatever you were using didn't seem to do you much good.
And of course, you get a lovely French lass.
It's not good for me to like you.
Why? Pourquoi?
Because I worry.
And that's Jennifer Decker as Lucienne giving a bad performance bilingually. The dogfights in Flyboys seem heavy on the CGI and light on creativity. Why make such a corny and incredibly predictable film? The epilogue telling us what happened to each of the real-life pilots hints at stories that are far more interesting than the actual movie. I got to give this a big thumbs down, Fred.
Well, I agree with a lot you say, but you say, why make a movie like this? I think the reason is it's kind of interesting. This was about first or second year where there were airplanes. And the fight scenes, I may be naive, but they were almost three-dimensional. I like to think they were up there actually getting these fight scenes. You realize the frailty of the plane. And another thing that really is frightening, when the commander says, if your plane catches on fire, there's three things to do. You can ride it down in flames, everything good. You can jump and fall 1,000 feet, or take the easy way out, and he hands him a pistol. So now you realize there's no parachutes. So you're up there in the air, and if it catches fire, it's all over.
Well, I mean, I think, the story itself obviously is a story worth telling, and I think a lot of people today, it's almost 100 years ago, don't know the details of this.
Exactly.
I just think the screenplay was so filled with cliches. And I got to say, too, Fred, just once in one of these war movies, when the Germans come into a house, I wish they would do something more than just guzzle the wine and forget to look in the one room where the girl is hiding. And then they always go, Was ist das? Schnell, schnell, as the person's running away. I mean, I just saw too many of those scenes in this movie.
This is a guy's movie. Guys are going to come. They're going to love the action scenes. There's got to be something for their girlfriends and wives. The ladies are going to go up to get popcorn in the fight scenes. The young kids are going to go up for popcorn in the love scenes. But the older kids will stay in their seats in the love scenes because of Jennifer Decker. I found her isn't she very refreshing and pretty? She's not the sex pot. She's not a conventional sex pot.
I think she struggled. I don't know. The dialogue between James Franco and this young actress, I mean, I don't know if anybody could have rescued it.
But I love the action. I love the history of the Lafayette Escadrille. I give it a thumbs up.
Well, I think they should have gone up there in search of a better script, but that's just me. Okay, coming up next, Johnny Knoxville and friends drop their drawers and shock themselves and probably us in Jackass number 2.
Are you ready to go out there and take what's yours? Yeah! What you worked
Looking at movies now in theaters, which I reviewed with last week's guest critic, Aisha Tyler. Gridiron Gang with The Rock. It got a thumbs up from Aisha and a thumbs down from me. Hilary Swank, Josh Hartnett, and Scarlett Johansson in The Black Dahlia got 2 thumbs down. And Orlando Bloom and Bill Paxton in Haven. It got a thumbs up from Aisha and a thumbs down from me.
In the coming attractions for our next movie, the producers quote negative reviews from the first film. Then they say, we have bad news for you critics. We just made a number 2. I don't know if you get that or not, Richard. You can take that any way you want, but they do live up to their title. For those of you who found Date Movie and Scary Movie 4 a little hard to follow, we bring you Jackass number 2. Johnny Knoxville and his friends travel the world thinking up and performing stunts that the ordinary person would say, that's just nuts. But enough flattery. Early on, they have a fire hose rodeo. Then Johnny himself appears in a bit called Knoxville and the Yak. All you need for this is a soundtrack from an old Pete Smith specialty. Oh no, where's the yak? Well, there was the yak. Then they recruit skateboard champ Tony Hawk for a bit called The Gauntlet because skateboarding alone is such a piece of cake. Jason Acuna, known as Wee Man, fits right in this one of his tamer and less humiliating stunts. Now, what I've said will keep away those of you who feel this is not your cup of tea, and that's a good idea for one of their bits. Hey, this is not my cup of tea. While fans of the first one are probably already running to buy tickets, I have a feeling these guys would like nothing more but a thumbs down. To call them crazy and stupid would make them proud. And even though there are warnings at the beginning and end about trying these stunts, I don't think it will deter some kids. I hope I'm never asked to be in one of these films, but they seem like a bunch of guys I'd like to hang around with. Sorry to do this to you, Johnny, but I had fun, and I'm giving them a thumbs up.
You know, Fred, the first movie, I actually gave it a God help me thumbs up, and I'm going to do that again here. I got to join you and give this thumbs up. You know, they call the movie Jackass, so you watch it and you go, well, what a bunch of idiots. Yes. Well, yeah, that's sort of the point. So it works for me first of all, as sort of a documentary about some really crazy misfits who bond together in a lot of strange and sometimes kind of homoerotic ways. These guys are getting their, I don't know what that's all about. They can deal with that. But it also, I have to say, these guys are actually very creative in their own twisted stunts. I mean, who comes up with fire hose rodeo? Who comes up with dangling a guy, Steve-O, literally with a hook in his mouth? And that's one of those moments where I had to close my eyes. And they use him as human bait for sharks. I mean, there's a madness here that you just don't see in almost any other walk of life. I guess, in a weird way, admire these guys, and I'm so glad they found something to do with each other that keeps them out of jail.
And kids, well, you'll do it at home if you want to, but I advise against
Well,
that.
and you know, just like the Lord of the Rings, I can't wait for the third part of this trilogy.
The third part, I don't see where they're going to go. One of the actors said, I hope there's no part 3. All it could be is the film Suicide. And then there'll be an audience for that, too.
Next is The Science of Sleep. This is another trippy and structurally challenging piece of moving abstract art from Michel Gondry. His Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is one of my favorite movies about the kind of melancholy madness of the subconscious mind. This time, though, not so much. Gael Garcia Bernal plays Stefan, an unbearably childish and delusional would-be artist. By day, he's very shy and obsessive, but when he lapses into his dream world, he's the host of his own TV show.
There he goes. Yes. Yes. Okay, we have to run. I'm tucking quietly to not wake myself up.
Charlotte Gainsbourg is Stefan's neighbor, and the fact that she's named Stephanie had me questioning for a while whether she was even real or the product of Stefan's hyperactive imagination. The Science of Sleep is an interesting visual experiment that tries really hard to be something unique, but it just spins its flashy wheels and eventually goes nowhere. I'm giving it thumbs down.
Yes, you say it's structurally challenging. Sometimes you don't want to be that challenged when you go to the movies. It's been described as off the wall. I would prefer it to be a little more on the wall. Charlotte Gainsbourg, I found very charming. She just misses being really pretty, but she's every teenager's dream of having a girlfriend who's also a buddy. But it lost me when it was the dream, then reality, then the dream. Is it a dream? Is it reality? I ended up just watching the pictures, and by the end, I was just planning the rest of my day. So I have to agree. I give it, although it's pretty and it might interest you, I give it a thumbs down.
Well, sometimes a thumbs down can be a beautiful thing as well. When we come back, the best titles on DVD in the thumbs up video segment. But first, let's take a look at what guest critic Kevin Smith and I will review on next week's show.
I swim as fast and as hard as I can for as long as I can. The sea takes a rest.
Is this your dad?
What? No.
What's your ass, Roger? I'm nervous.
Way to build trust.
I couldn't resist.
Okay, looking at movies new on DVD, here's one you really need to miss. It's called Stick It with Jeff Bridges and Missy Peregrine. It's terrible. Roger and I gave it 2 thumbs down. Kira Sedgwick and Kevin Bacon in Loverboy also got 2 thumbs down. And Guy Pearce and Danny Houston in The Proposition, that got 2 big thumbs up. Now, Fred, I have 2 other video picks for you this week. One is called The Lake House with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock. It's one of those time travel romances where you...
I'm familiar with it. Did you like it?
I liked it quite a bit. And I know a lot of audiences, it was a big hit, but I've heard from a lot of viewers who really hated it. You just have to kind of go with time travel, logic or lack thereof. And I'm also recommending Curious George. It's a film I did not recommend in theaters. I thought it was a little bit too simple for adults to take the kids and spend all that money at the theaters, but I think as a video pick, it's got a lot of neat extras, a lot of additional bonus materials on the DVD. So as a home video experience, I am giving it thumbs up.
A good babysitter for the kids.
There you go.
I'm going way back a few years to a classic, The Court Jester, starring Danny Kaye. A lot of people forget that, but they'll remember a lot of bits from it. The pellet with the poisons in the vessel with the pestle, the chalice from the palace has the brew that is true. And Danny Kaye makes 5 minutes out of that. And at the end, Mildred Nadwick says, wait, there's been a change. And then my favorite, let's get in, get on with it, get it over with, and get out. Get it? Got it, good. And as a kid living in Cleveland, I said, Hollywood, that's the place for me.
They're crazy there.
I loved it. It's a classic. Each little bit is like a sketch. It moves the movie forward. The Italian court. What better place to court Italians? It just goes on, and it's wonderful.
Great stuff. Good pick. Okay. The Court Jester is available now on the Lake House and Curious George. They'll be in stores on Tuesday. And we'll be back to recap this week's show right after this.
Closed captioning for Ebert and Roeper is sponsored by...
Okay, recapping the movies on this week's show. We split on All the King's Men. 2 thumbs up for Jet Li's Fearless. We split on Flyboys.
We did.
2 thumbs up for Jackass #2, as you would say, God help us, and 2 thumbs down, sorry, for The Science of Sleep.
I just think it's worth it to have you here so that we can give 2 thumbs up to Jackass #2. I want to thank you so much, Fred, for filling in for Roger.
It was a pleasure. I'm a fan of the show, and after my appearance on the show, the fans will be even more anxious for Roger's return. I couldn't have been happier. Thanks again for inviting me.
Fred, thank you so much. That's it for this week's show, and until next week, the balcony is closed.
Where do you get popcorn?
Your fantasy is about to be fulfilled.
Introducing IHOP's French Toast Fantasy. 3 dreamy styles of French toast with all your favorites.
From Jennifer Convertibles, a Simmons microfiber sofa bed, just $2.99. Only at Jennifer, $2.99. Jennifer Convertibles, the only place to buy a sofa bed.
More people are starting their day with new Plum Smart from SunSweet.
I'm starting.
Plum Smart has fiber and nutrients to help keep your digestive system healthy and in balance. Start smart with Plum Smart.
We know your dirty little secret, your mop. Get to know the cleaner way to clean with the Libman Wonder Mop. The mop head is machine washable, only from Libman.